Welcome back to our continuous coverage of Goa 365's Panchayat Poll counting coverage. We've been live, almost live, in so many of the polling booths, where almost 5,000, more than 5,000 candidates are fighting for their places in the 186 panchayats that have gone to polls today. 64 of them have already been elected, and with us to discuss what's been happening after lunch or pre-lunch. There have been no breaks for the polling turnout, but after lunch, with us is a panel. Some have been there before lunch, and now new Vikas Bhagat from Goa Forward has joined us. Vikas Bhagat, welcome. I'd like to introduce us the panel again, and also Viraj Naik, cephalogist. He's also joined us new. I would like to start off from the full panel, right from number one. Advocate Avinash Bhonsle of NCP. Avinash Bhagat, welcome.
Hello.
Vikas Bhagat of Goa Forward, again, welcome back. Viraj Naik, welcome. And Advocate Siddharth Samant, welcome. Before I start off the discussion, before I kick off the discussion, we had a very interesting discussion before the break, where we discussed devolution of powers, many of the quality of the people who have stood for elections. I'd like to bring in the voter turnout, the official figures up till 2 p.m. Bardes polled 56.52%, Sangeng 65.35%, Satari 63.87%, Murmungao 53.19%, Salset 51.15%, Kankorn 64.85%, almost 65%, Darbandara 65.5%, Kepe 64.65%, Bicholi 62.93%. Overall, up till 2 o'clock up till 2 p.m., the overall percentage has been 55%. It started off slow, but it has picked up in many places. There are some areas like possibly Bardes and Salset have been slightly less, but it's been generally a pretty good thing. In some places, it might probably hit 85%, 85% till the end of polling, which is at 5 o'clock. I would like to bring in Avinash Bhagat. What do you feel up till now? What has been the situation according to you of the polling?
The post-lunch up till now, I think it's very encouraging situation today, because the people, the voters have spontaneously on their own has come to the booth. It is not like a case of last assembly elections. So this is something, the response which has been shown, and I tell you, by the closure, it should touch something about 90 and above, should definitely reach out, because that is average, you said 55% by 2 o'clock. By 5 o'clock, it should be definitely average should be 90 and above. So the credit goes definitely to the voter. They are definitely celebrating, despite being because no enthusiasm has been shown by any political party. Of course, it is apolitical, but the political party should have shown an interest not at the time of elections day or before that, once elections are declared. Political parties should have definitely initiated some sort of awareness about this, because these are the foundation of our democracy. This is where what you say, if you say development should come from the villages, and villages should remain villages with the entire benefit, the amenities to the villages. But now the way in Goa, particularly, entire Goa has been urbanized. I will give a very glaring example how that faulty system, why politics should not interfere. We have a neighboring Taligaon village. I remember Taligaon became a part of, because at the time there was no municipal corporation. I was, and at the time when Dayanand Narvekar was the urban development minister, at that particular point of time, we had advocated for a corporation, including our Asia's #1 hospital, that is, which was shifted to Bambole. So taking up the Bambole area, taking up the Porvori area, and Santa Cruz Taligaon to be a part of the greater Panjim city, and that would have made a real sense corporation, and the corporator would have won more than 50-55. But this was not appreciated by the government at that point of time. But later on, for a political understanding, a village was included in Taligaon, was a part of the Panjim Municipal Council, and when Parikar made that act, Corporation Act. It was during the time Manoj Parrikar when he was the chief minister. At that particular point of time, this entire Ashok Naik BJP, the corporation went to BJP. Ashok Naik was the first mayor of corporation, and all the Panch overnight became, who were elected on Panchayat, became a councillor or by default. And then there came Babush with the promise, and it was same Mr. Manoj Parrikar, the first wish when Parrikar became a chief minister, where Babush was inducted in his ministry, was a reversion of Talegaon municipal ward into back to Panchayat. Now you see what is the fate of Panchayat. It is total, Panjim city, Talegaon is developed, Panchayat is developed. Where is the city of a smart city? It looks like a village. But all the greenery, all the fields of Talegaon has been devastated. Talegaonची फामाद जे गव्हर्नराक आमी हे दिताली कोणसा दिताली, that was a famous feast. It was a big honor. So वेरा कोणसा हुई जाता तुका. गणेश चतुर्थी पहिली ती आमी ते लवताली आणि आमी ते हाडटाली गणपती. Now Ganesh Chaturthi is there, and they were from the field of Talegaon. They were from the field of Santa Cruz. Where are the field? So now the development, what I am trying to say, my point is this: when there is a development, you speak of a development of village, let the village be village. Don't urbanize this. You see how it is with the example of Panjim and Talegaon. So, but now they want to have, you don't know what is the capacity, and they have reached out to Perne to Kankan. They have not left out the space, because the entire Goa is a magnet. It has been attracted by all the people across the world, and they would like to stay in Goa.
Okay. Okay.
So that's a pressure on Panchayat.
Yeah, fair enough. But I don't know if we can revert back this sort of juggernaut which is taking over, because Goa is generally a very urbanized thing. Let's go move on more to a little bit of facts. Virajba, what can you give us?
So this, looking at the voter percentages so far, it has been good, and traditional low voting percentages which happens in Salset is repeated here. So 51% Salset is one of the lowest, in addition to Mormagaon, which is 53, and Bardes is 56. So I would say it's pretty much going on the way it was predicted. Usually these are the talukas where the voting percentages are lower, and the other talukas like Sattari usually have a high voting percentage. One point that I would like to raise is, out of all these booths, 45 were marked as sensitive booths, which is 2.9% of all the booths that are there in Goa. So far, I don't think any untoward incident has happened, so that's a good thing as far as the voting is concerned. Now, some facts and figures. So we have total 186 panchayats and 1464 wards, which means approximately 7.8%, 7.87 wards per panchayat, if you look at the figures. Similarly, we have 5038 candidates, and there are 1464 wards, so it comes to 3.44 candidates per ward. If you look at the voters, so we have 7,97,020 voters. 48.55 are male voters, and females are 51.45. So females are more than male candidates. So this is something which might help the women candidates, especially since there are reservations in panchayat, which is a good thing. Local bodies, lot of women candidates would be there, and some healthy competition there.
Okay, thanks Viraj. Now just before I go to Vikas, do we have a reporter online from Salset?
Glenn.
Yeah, yes, Ramesh from Salset. Ramesh, where are you? Where are you?
सध्या आम्ही नावेली आसात.
Okay.
Glenn,
Yes, continue. Yes, sir.
नावेली. ग्लेन आयची जे इलेक्शन पंचायतीचे जे इलेक्शन जाला तितून सद्याक म्हणल्यार 54% जे सालसेती जाले कडेन आसा. आनीक सांगपाची एक बरी गजाल म्हणल्यार ह्या इलेक्शनाक कसलेच एक इन्सिडेंट असलो जालो ना. हरशी तरी कित तरी जाताले, एक झगडी जाताली ह्या हे जाताले ते जाताले कित तरी अनइन्सिडेंट जातालो, पूण ह्या खेपेक हो इन्सिडेंट जो आसा हो कांयच जाल ना. फक्त एक बारीक बारीक ज्यो गव्हर्मेंटाचे या इलेक्शन कमिशनराच्यो ज्यो काही मिस्टेक आसात, ज्यो लोकांनी दोळ मुखार हाडले कडेन आसात, त्यो म्हणले जाल्यार एक जी आसा ही रिजर्वेशन म्हणटात सगळी सारखी जालना. ओसोळणा पंचायती पळयता जाल्यार 5 वुमन्स 7 वॉर्डाची पंचायतीतून 5 जाण बायले आसा, 10 जाण दादले आसा. म्हणजे वुमन्स पावर जो आसा हो मुखार येतलो हे पळोवपाक मेळटा. आनीक फातर्पा असली पंचायत जी आसा तितूंक एक बारीकशे इन्सिडेंट जाले कडेन आसात. ते म्हणले जाल्यार जेन्ना जाणटे लोक आसा या ब्लायंड लोक आसा हेंकां जेन्ना भितर व्हरता तेन्ना फॅमिली मेंबर वचना, ते कोणाक भितर घेता आनी ते खंय भितर आसा ते सांगतात की अमक्याक मार म्हणून. पूण हो तरी खंय तरी इन्सिडेंट हो जाले कडेन आसा, हो पळोवच पडटलो. हेजेर इलेक्शन कमिशनर गंभीर्यान विचार करपाक जाय, कित्याक हांगा असले इन्सिडेंट जर जाले जाल्यार लोकां मदीं एक खंय तरी भंय पडटा की कितें जायत काय, आपल्या वोट बेश्टे वचत काय म्हणून. आनी जे एलिगेशन करतात हे खंय तरी पार्टीचे मनीस आसात जे एलिगेशन करता ते. दुसरे वटेन आमी MLA फुडें जायते MLA मेळ्ळे आमकां 2-3, तेंचे कडेन आमी डिस्कस केले की तुमी पॅनल दवरला, तर ते म्हणटा की पॅनल दवरना. AAPचे MLA मेळ्ळे ते म्हणटा आमी पॅनल म्हणटा आमी रेडी केलें ना आनी आमी दवरले ना. हे लोकांचेर वचपाक जाय, कित्याक पंचायत ही लोकांची आसा आनी लोकांनी हें करप. हेतूंक मिनिस्टर या MLA हेंचे जावचे न्हू. जी काम आसा ती तेंचे फुडें करपाक आमी अवश्य वतले, अशें जावपाक जाय म्हणटा ते.
What about other areas, Ramesh? You're Naveli. बाकीचे किती पंचायती आसा ती, what is the situation?
आमी आतां वेळीचे आमी केले कडेन आसा, आंबेली केले कडेन आसा. ह्या हितूंक स्मुथली चलता. जशे लोकां उमेद आसा पंचायती इलेक्शनाक वोट मारपाची, ती उमेद दिश्ट पडना. थोडे कडेन दिश्ट पडटा, बाकी कडेन दिश्ट पडना. ते खूब कमी आनी आमच्या दिसता की खूब कमी वोट जातले पंचायतीक. एक्चुअली पंचायतीक वोट जावपाक जाय आसले, पूण ही खंय तरी पंचायतीक जी वोटींग आसा ही खूब कमी जावपाची शक्यता आसा. कित्याक आतां जवळ 34 जायतली, 4 म्हटल्यार 53% वोटींग म्हळ्यार खूब कमी आसा. ती खंय तरी खूब वाडपाक जाय आसले. इवन आमी पळयला बाळ्ळी वोटींग कमी जाल्ले कडेन आसा. इवन आंबावली वोटींग कमी जाता. ह्या वटेन जर गेल्यार बेतनाक वेळी एक 7-8 वोटींग जाले कडेन आसा. आनी हेतून म्हळ्यार लोक बेजारल्या हेज्या की एक वॉर्डा 5 जाण 6 जाण हे बसल्यात आनी एकू गांवाचे बसले कारणान तांकां खंय तरी कोणा मारचे आनी कात मारचे. तेजे वाट्या ओगी रावल्या बरी अशें लोकांचे मना आसा आनी आमी पळयतात. दवरले रुग्णामल पंचायत ह्या हितून गेले जाल्यार सुद्दां लोकांक उमेदीन अशी हे आपल्याले जे ग्रुप आसात ते थोडेशे ग्रुप करून हांगा रावले कडेन आसा. पूण खंय तरी इलेक्शन जे जातले हे थंडपणान जाले कडेन आसा. आत म्हणल्यार हेचे मुखार पळोवचे पडटले कितें इलेक्शनाचो आनी कितें इन्सिडेंट जाता काय ना. तेका लास्ट टायमाक कितें तरी जाता.
Yeah, thanks Ramesh. I will get back to you later. Yeah, thank you. Because आता looks like Salset and Bardez, not only Salset, now he's talking about Salset. Salset and Bardez, the percentage has been much kami. 54, he's saying around 54% now at 330. So, and also in even earlier between 8 to 10, Bardez was 19% and Salset was 16-17%. बाकी and even Ponda. तर अर्बन एरियाज मातशे कमी जाला काय दिसता न्हू.
मेन म्हणल्यार हाका जायती कारण आसात. एक म्हणल्यार हांव आमच्या थंय सांगता, आतां वर्साक ज्यो ग्रामसभा जावपाक जाय 8 जावपाक जाय, तेतूं सुद्दां जर आमी पळयत जाल्यार लोक कमी येता. ग्रामसभेक व्हडलोसो लोक येना. आनी लोकांक कितें जालां आतां परत निवडून येवन लोकांक एक तरेचो बेजार आयिल्लो आसा. ह्या सरकाराचेर बेजार आयिल्लो आसा. सगळ्याच तरेचो एक बेजार आसा. कित्याक जेन्ना लोक डोर टू डोर वताले आमी कित्याक म्हूण तुमकां मत मारप अशें लोक उलयतात. कित्याक मारप दर वेळाचेर तुमकां मत मारप कितें जाता, गांवचो उदरगत कितें जाता, कांयच जायना. अक्षरशः ताका लागून म्हाका दिसता मतदानाचे जे रेशो आसा तो कमी जाल्लो आसा. आनीक दुसरी गजाल हातूंत भितर एक आमकां दिसून येता की लोकां भितर जो उत्साह उरपाक जाल्लो, कारण पार्टी लेवलाचेर जाल्ली ना. तातूंत भितर BJP आहा ती भरपूर बरीच तरेन खेळ्ळा. कोणाकच कॅन्डिडेट म्हूण दवरली ना ते. हांव पयर एक दीस शेल्डी भोंवतालो, 2 कॅन्डिडेटांनी बॅनर लायले आनी दोनूय कॅन्डिडेटांनी आमदारालेच फोटो लायिल्ले आसा. म्हणजे अशे पद्दतीन तूं कोणी निवडून येता तो आमचो. अशे पद्दती जाला. आमचे थंय तर अशें की तूं निवडून यो, तुका पॅकेज दिता, तुका जॉब दिता गव्हर्मेंट, तूं यो अशे तरेन आयला. म्हणटकीर लोकांक एक तरेचो अक्षरशः ह्या सरकाराचेर वीट आयल्लो आसा, ज्या पद्दतीन जो कारभार जर पळयत जाल्यार. म्हणून म्हाका दिसता ताका लागून घडये वोटींग जी पर्संटेज आसा ती कमी जाल्ली आसा. हांव मुद्दाम तुमकां सांगता की 9 तारखेक अनंत अग्नीन एक बरो आर्टिकल बरयल्लो. ताणें सारकें सांगलें की लोक कित्याक कमी येतात, लोक कित्याक लागून हें सगळें जाता, ग्रामसभेक लोक कित्याक येनात, भुरगे बरे भुरगे जे तूं वचपाक जाय पंचायतीक ते कित्याक वचनात, की सगळंच कांयच ना पावर. पंचायतीक गेले उपरांत तरी सरकाराक कितें पावर आसा.
That we have been discussing in the morning also, because that we have, now see that Ramesh was in Salset. Now our reporter from Bardes is on the line. Let's hear him out. Yeah, can we get Samip on the line? Yeah, Samip सांग, बार्देजीन तुमचे कितें चल्लां सांगा.
बार्देजीन एकदा स्टार्ट ऑफ द इलेक्शन व्हडले फोकुसाव जाले. वॉर्ड नंबर 9 कालांगूट खबराडो 2 वॉर्ड नंबर 9 म्हणटा ते हांगासर बॅलट पेपराचो घोळ जालो. सिंबल आसली ती मिसमॅच जाली. हे कॅन्डिडेट सिंबल त्या कॅन्डिडेटचे सिंबल ह्या कॅन्डिडेटाक पावले. म्हटल्यार दोग एक मिनीश कालांगूटकर आनी स्वप्नेश वांयगणकर दोगांचीच सिंबलां मिसमॅच जाली आणि थोडे बॅलट पेपरांचेर सिंबलां पासून नासली. सो हो ग्रेट प्रोसिजर लॅप्स जालो. सो थंय बोवाळ जालो. मागीर आरो येयलो. आरोक तेंच्यांनी क्वेश्चन केले, पूण आरोन आतां सद्या कॅन्डिडेटाक सांगल्या आमी इलेक्शन आतां कॉल्ड ऑफ करता. वी आर लायकली टू हेल्ड दीस इलेक्शन्स टुमॉरो.
Okay, but generally all over what is the situation in Bardes? बरी कमी जाला न्हू वोटिंग.
ऑल ओव्हर सिच्युएशन म्हणून पळोवंक गेल्यार आयज सकाळ फुडें लोकांची गर्दी चड दिसून येताली. लायक इन कालांगूट सकाळ फुडें लोकांची चड गर्दी आसली.
ओके, बट आतां
फुडें लोक येयल्ले. मागीर 2 मेरेन क्रावड आसलो आनी शिवोले पळोवंक गेल्यार लोक थोडे लेट येवपाक लागले.
ओके,
सकाळी कांय नासली. मागीर 2 लोकांची चड गर्दी जाली.
बट आतां कितें आतां थंड.
आतां न्ही मातसो थोडो क्रावड मातसो कमी जायत चल्ला. 2 मातशी बरी खूब गर्दी पळोवपाक मेळ्ळी. लायक बिटवीन 12 to 2 बरी चड गर्दी आसली.
ओके, बट पर्संटेज इन बार्देस मातशें कमी आसा, 56.5 आसा न्हू अप टील 2 o'clock.
खूब कमी आहा. कित्याक जाणा हांगासर बाकीचे कोण इलेक्शन एजंट आसले ते लोकांनी घरांनी वचोंक लोकांक बाबा या रे करून पांयां पडटाले, फोर्स करताले. तरी म्हाका दिसना इतके खूब ड्रॉप जाला. कित्याक 12 मेरूनच 37% आसली, विच इज अ व्हेरी सॅड नंबर.
39, सारकें. ओके, थँक्स समीप, वी विल बी इन टच. या थँक्यू. या विकास बाब. येस,
म्हणटकीच जो पळय लोकां भितर ताणें बी सांगला की निराशा आयिल्ली आसा. आतां पांय पडचे पडटा, यो रे भायर सर रे कितें खरें. कारण पावरय कांय ना. पंचायती वचून जावप तरी कितें कांयच जायना. सगळें वयल्यान इन्स्ट्रक्शन. आनी एक गजाल चुकीची आसा की म्हणटा सरकार आमदार तांचो आसून सरकारा वटेन रावपाक पडटलें आमकां, म्हणून आपूण त्या सायडीन वता. अशे खुबशे इन्सिडेंट आसात. ताका लागून लोकांक आतां कॅन्डिडेटाचोय बेजार आयिल्लो आसा. हांव काणकोणाक कांय पंचायती भितर हांव स्वता भोंवतालो, पळयतालो. लोकां भितर जो उत्साह दिसपाक जाय आसलो किंवा कितें बदल दिसपाक, तो म्हाका खंय तरी दिश्टी पडला. लोकांक अक्षरशः आपूण ताणें सांगलें तशें की आपूण हाडचें पडटा, यो रे मातसो मत मानचो रे लिस्ट काडची पडटा. तर म्हाका दिसता हे इलेक्शनाक लोकांक जो उत्साह जाल्लो तो ना लोकांक. आनी रिजर्वेशनान ते सगळो घोळ जाल्लो आसा. जे इच्छूक आसले तेंगे रिजर्वेशन जालें, ते तांची खंय तरी निराश जाला. अशें खुबशीं कारणां आसात. ताका लागून हो जो हें आसा तो देंवता.
आसोलना आय सेइंग आउट ऑफ 7, 5 have become leader. वुमन्स पावर.
काणकोणाक खूब कडेन पंचायतींनी तशेंच जाल्लें आसा. 55% वयर रिजर्वेशन जाल्लें आसा.
म्हाका दिसता बाय इवनिंग some of the percentage will be made up, and even if it crosses overall something between 80 to 90%, that by any standard should be taken as a good voting turnout. Now as far as people लोक उदासीन जाल्यात बी म्हणटात पळय, तथ्य आसा त्या गोष्टीक. कारण एज इट इज सेड की ह्या पंचायती एकंदरच त्यांच्याकडे कसले व्हडलेशे पावर ना, फायनान्शियल इंडिपेंडन्स ना, डिसिजन घेवपाची कुवत ना. आणि मागीर निवडून आयले काय मागीर परत ते अल्टिमेटली नॉर्मली जर तुम्ही पळयत जाल्यार खंयच्याय पक्षाचे जे सरकार आसा त्याच सरकाराक हे सगळे लोक विलीन जातात अल्टिमेटली. सो देरफोर इलेक्शन रिमेन्स अ मेअर फॉर्मेलिटी. सो असल्या गोष्टी खातीर जर कारण सेटअपूच असो आसा की कोणाक शरण येवचें पडटा म्हणटात तशें सरेंडर जर जावचें पडटा बी इट मिनिस्टर और लोकल MLA, देन पीपल आर गोइंग टू बी to an extent dejected. So that point is well accepted. Only one or two things that I wanted to, of course, the returning officer and then he symbols wrong there. I think whoever has done this mishap should be taken to task, because it's a very, you could have known it earlier. Ballot papers are available earlier. And second, that now that it is postponed tomorrow, now what about, are the people going to get holiday tomorrow? Because if there is working, because it's working, how are you going to go to vote?
So how are they going to print the ballot papers?
No, let us assume that tonight they will do the exercise and they will print the ballot. That is not an two important things which come to my mind right now. Whether there is going to be a holiday in that part of the, because see, otherwise how does a person, if you are supposed to be working between 9 to 6, then it is extremely difficult for you to go and vote. The voting percentage will be less. People who are your supporters may not come out to vote for you. And accountability, these two things needs to be seriously looked into, because this is not a, because this shows lack of seriousness on part of the whoever authorities are.
Fair enough. Also, another point I wanted to bring out, we were discussing earlier before the break about politicians not coming into power, but here he's saying that the MLA's photograph is there on the board he's talking about in certain areas. Now this is ridiculous.
They feel that such things will garner them votes, but normally if you ask me, in my personal experience have been, your local MLA or local minister does not garner your votes at such a low election or a panchayat level election. It's your own personal commission, it's your own commitment towards this, your relationship with people that gets you votes. People they think various ways. They feel if I print on my banner my photographs along with a minister's photograph or chief minister's photograph or local MLA, then that will show my connections, and they have their own calculations. They will think that I have got a direct connect with this person, so that people will think that I will be able to get their work done, I will be able to get licenses for them, I will be able to get jobs for them. And that's why it's a type of politics which is being played, which according to me may not work, does not naturally reflect that it will work on the ground level. I don't think so that such things work at the ground level.
I don't know about that, but let me ask Avinash Babu on that. Avinash Babu, you feel that backing of the local MLA does not work at the ground level?
Definitely the backing of MLA in a given situation will definitely help. But here these elections are very particular, because the assembly major elections have already happened. The MLA who are already elected, they are complacent, because nothing negative will happen to them. So there is the ruling dispensation, what they have done it. If कोणी जर उमेदवार निवडून गेलो तर माझाच उमेदवार असतो. So there is no seriousness on the ruling and the opposition.
It is other way
like there are very few individuals, like they have become a god into themselves, like Michael. I can name them, Vishwajit, or for that matter from Madkai, who is that Davlikar. So there are certain, they feel if you get yourself connected with them, and my voters, I am man of Davlikar, or I am man of Babush, or I am man of, here in Panjim also, if you are connected with Babush, your victory is sure, something like that for municipality. So rather than with other people. So this is hardly any seriousness which is shown by because that is apolitical, whether ruling dispensation or opposition. And mind it well, once the election is over, results are over, all these elected members from each council will come with a garland, go and meet the chief minister, they will be paraded there, and they will show their support to the government, irrespective whether he may be hardcore NCP or even congressman, he will be there, because they are going to, it is for the development. I want my development. I am going. I otherwise the NCP, but I want development. I am going for it.
The way Avinash Babu says, it has got double meaning. Viraj, I don't expect you to talk on this point. I'll get Vikas on that. You speak on your.
Actually, this elections, Panchayat elections, happening after the assembly election is a big blessing in disguise for the elected representatives. Because had these elections been before the assembly election, there would have been lot of anger against the representative or the aspiring candidates, because the losing candidate would blame his leader. and that is avoided because it's happening after the assembly
Absolutely.
election. So that's a big blessing for them. Also, it is about FIDO. So like any candidate who wants to win the election, he will project himself as a man of the elected representative, like they said. And the other way around, once he's elected, the minister or MLA will say that I supported him. So it's all about FIDO.
Because as rightly been said in particular Sattari, there was a candidate who was speaking. He says, I am from Vishwajit. So that means he is passing a message. If you are a man of Vishwajit, you are 100%. But there are at least each ward there are 2 or 3 people who are contesting who belong to Vishwajit.
अविनाश बाबाची एक गजाल हांव समजता की निवडून येतकच म्हाका दिसता मुख्यमंत्र्याक 3-4 दीस तरी
फक्त
सत्कार करपाक रावचे पडटले. कोणूय येयलो तो कोण गळे घालतलो आमची पार्टीची पॅनल आनी दुसरी हाजे गजालीचे हांव समजता कारण जर हे असेंब्ली इलेक्शन जर आतां आसलें आनी पयलीं समज जर पंचायत जाल्लें जाल्यार ताका एक वेगळें वळण येतालें. थंय वेगळो फोर्स यूज करताले, थंय मातशे लोक सिरियस जाताले. MLA जे रावपाचे जे कॅन्डिडेट रावताले ते उमेदवार रावपाक सोदताले ते मातशे फोर्स मारताले. आतां कितें जालां इलेक्शन जावन थोडेशे दीस जाले आसात म्हणटकीर साहजीक तांकां लोकांक ते तितले सिरियस ना. कोण तो आपल्या फुड्यान कितें जातलो न्हू शेवटाक एंड ऑफ द डे आपल्या फुड्यानच येवपाचो म्हणून ते लोक बी सुशेगाद आसा आनी जे आमदार आसात तेय सुशेगाद आसात.
Doctor, tell me one thing. Would it be better for democracy, so as to say, that the Panchayat elections are held before the assembly elections? Purely from a observer point of view.
For democracy, what would be better is all elections held at one time. At least to begin with, assembly and Lok Sabha elections held at one time, and they are held even if there is a disqualification, either there is a caretaker government if the government collapses in between, or there is a president's rule. So it doesn't make difference whether these are before or after. It makes more sense if country of this magnitude it is difficult. But prior to 1965, 1960, in fact, all these elections were held at one place. If you remember, even during presidential, these also, these were all elections, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, the Lok Sabha and state elections were held together. So I think if they are held together, then it will save lot of money. It will spare us with lot of politics. And for example, Delhi, people voted wholeheartedly. For example, Delhi. People voted wholeheartedly for AAP. They gave him a thumping majority of
assembly.
Yes, 63 seats, but all 7 seats went to BJP. So many times, and you will see in so many. Now you see MP, it was a Congress government, but as far as Lok Sabha was concerned, wholeheartedly people voted. So I think people are able to make that difference. They will try to see whether merely because center is doing well, whether same party should be elected here if there is no capabilities. So they will see merit. I think they will see merit at both, as well as center as well as in the state.
But the mindset of the people is very clear. When it comes to a national perspective, people always tend to prefer a national party. When it is local,
Yes,
people
yes.
prefer a local, whether maybe for a panchayat election or municipal election or even for the assembly. So local parties are preferred. That is the reason why you see, particularly in the south side, your local one, even the presence of Congress has come as good as negligible, some sort of it. So local powers have cropped up. Here in also Goa, there was a local only because it was a party between two. Only in 1980, when there was a merge with the two local parties, that is why the difference, the national party came in, and subsequently the BJP came in. Today BJP is in power. BJP hardly had, they roped in. It is how the neck of BJP. MGP was a guinea pig. They rode on MGP's lion and they got that 4. They did it even in Maharashtra. They rode on Shiv Sena. That is a local party. Even in Bihar, what is happening is the same thing. So wherever BJP has gone up, which started from a scratch, these are the people with the strategies. They have a strategy. They have a vision for another 50 years. They have a vision what they want to do another next 20-25, what they want to do it. So a political party with a stability, with a strong leader, definitely achieves its goal. But a national party, however grand old party it may be like Congress, If they don't have a stable leader and there is no vision, it is the same result it is to be, maybe.
But Avinash Babu, wait one sec, before I have to ask Avinash Babu, but you all are allies, brother.
No, we are definitely being allies. No, we are natural allies. I don't say we are artificial. There are two types of it. You put your, see, now there is system saying double engine. You have a government in Delhi and government Goa. It's a double engine. So there are natural allies which were there. But and with your Hindutva, whether you are Kadwa Hindutva or milder version of Atal Bihari Vajpayee, or you have like Advani. So likewise, Shivsena in NCP also, we were the milder version because Sharad Pawar had his own sort of a strategy, and it was not an anger against any individual. It was India is such a vast country, and that was a time, and Indian National Congress has its own legacy, and then you have to have somebody to man that entire show. It may be some sort of a male, sort of an ego which was there to be ruled by a woman, but ultimately it is a woman who are the best administrator, and it has been proved time and again in the history as well in the present also. We have now a wonderful human being from your Adivasi to be the president of India. It's a proud moment for everybody. We should cherish it. So likewise also, any woman power is definitely appreciated. But at that particular point of time, there was a clash of conflict of interest, which was possibly that I would coin doctor's word. Conflict of interest was there. Sharad Pawar had its own, and that's why started NCP. And since thereafter we realized in Maharashtra today we have a strong presence, and without NCP, no government could perform. Even this government, what is dispensation which is there, it's hanging on a cliff. It depends on the Supreme Court's, Apex Court's order. It may collapse at any point of time, and at that point of time, Sharad Pawar's role will be very important. And so also, as far as when Goa is concerned, I don't find any future with Congress. It's a straitjacket case. One of the most political party which is there. It is, I have to say it. We have to admit. Give the marks.
Second segment, our congressmen are not.
No, has to be there. See, with all said, no, but it's open secret. See, I tell you, there's a party with a difference. Parrikar gave its name. Parrikar showed a way, and on his legacy, things are going on. Of course, now it is all congressification has been done of BJP, and they have the Parrikar's own son, who was very much capable and very much there into Panjim. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it as MLA because the BJP denied him a ticket. I don't know what was the rationale out of it. It was very simple. What you call winnability.
2026. But I'll bring in another ally of course. Sorry, Viraj. I'll bring in another ally of the Congress government. NCP से विकास
बरं दिसता त्यात उलयतार पळय कसं सहज सांगता नॅचरल अलायन्स म्हणतो नॅचरल तांचे विरुद्ध उलयता त्या बाबतीत जर बीजेपीन समज हेचे कडेन एमचे कडेन नॅचरल अलायन्स म्हणटा मात तो गेल्यार तुमी विरोध कित्याक करतात शिवसेने कडेन तांची नॅचरल अलायन्स जाल्यार तुमी कित्याक करतात
आम्ही खंय विरोध केलेलो
तुम्ही एक कडेन तांकां खंय तरी विरोध करप आनी दुसरे कडेन तुमी हे करप आतां मुद्दम एक सांगता शरद पवारा बाबतीत बाळासाहेब ठाकरे म्हणटालो या शरद बाबूला मी ओळखू शकलो नाही हा जो बोलतोय तो करत नाही आणि जो करतोय तो बोलत नाही आता बेभरोशाचो असं म्हणटालो तो संपाजी हे म्हणल्यार हाका लागून आता सांगपा जायना म्हाका दिसता ताणें एक स्टेटमेंट केलो असो की शरद पवारा शिवाय महाराष्ट्र सरकारच चलपाक शकना शक्य ना म्हणून म्हणजे तुमचे खंय तरी सॅटेलायटी आसाच जाय अशें आसपाक शकता
नथिंग इम्पॉसिबल इन पॉलिटिक्स
राजकारण जर परत करपाचें
इट इज अ ऑर्डर ऑफ द डे
हांव हाजेर उलयना आमचे कडेन तांचे काय अलायन्स ना पूण काँग्रेसी कडेन सांगता काँग्रेसी कडेन आमी गेल्ले बरे मनान गेल्ले आमी 8 मागले 5 आयले 5 3 दवरले काणकोण एकमेव मतदारसंघ आसतलो ज्या मतदारसंघात आमी ताजे बरोबर रावले हांव स्वता गोवा फॉरवर्ड जावन तेगे इलेक्शन एजंट आसलो आमी बरें काम केलें आनी आयज बी आमी काणकोणा भितर जे पळय केला ते सगळीं लोक आमी काँग्रेसीचे जे अपक्ष तांकां एकठांय करून आमी थोड कडेन कॅन्डिडेट घातले कारण एक सुरवात तरी काणकोणच्यान वयची की सगळ्यांनी येवचें त्यांनी एकठांय येवप म्हणून आपण खंय फाटल्यान तेंचे टिका करप हे योग्य न्हू पण खंय जो सपोर्ट आमकां काँग्रेसी कडच्यान ग्राउंड लेवलार जावन मेळपाक जाय तो मेळना म्हणून आमी आतां निदान अशें दिसता की गोंया भितर रिजनलच पार्टी जावपाक जाय जी गोंयकार जाली पार्टी हायकमांडाची आमकां गरज ना आमकां मुंबय दिल्ली वचपाची गरज ना आमकां कितें म्हणटा गोंयांत घडपाक जाय गोंयाकच हायकमांड आसपाक जाय जे गोंयच्या टेबलाचेर ठरतले दिल्लीच्या टेबलार किंवा दिल्लीच्या तख्त्यार धरची ना असलो सरकार फुडें जर उरलो जाल्यार गोंय राखून उरतलें हें हांव तुमकां सांगता अदरवायज गोंय राखून अख्ख्या प्रत्येक जण येता पळय न्हू दिल्लीच्यो ज्यो ज्यो पार्टी आसा तांगेले एक इंट्रस्ट आसता तूं उदक म्हणटा तशें मॅग्नेट टी खंय तरी आतां कितली दिल्लीच्या वाल्यान हांगा प्लॉटान हे घेतलात ते तुका तर बार्राची खबर आसा अशी तांगे सगळ्यांना इंट्रस्ट गोंय म्हळ्यार तांगे एक तर जोडपाची खाण गोंय म्हळ्यार एक बिझनस करपाची खाण अशी धरून ते येतात म्हणून हे सगळे नॅशनल पार्टी तांगे इंट्रस्ट आसा गोंयांक म्हणून म्हाका दिसता मुद्दम सांगन की ह्या फावटी जी जातली फुडली फावटी जे खंयच्या असेंब्लीच्या एक रिजनल पार्टी जावपाक जाय जशी हांगा आसा आमचे बंगाला आसा तशी आज परत तेमी रिजनल पार्टी जाली बिहाराक म्हाका जाल्यार बरें दिसलें परत रिजनल पार्टीन गव्हर्नमेंट केलो कारण ज्या पद्दतीन हे बीजेपी सरकार बारीक बारीक पार्टी काबार करपाक सोदता हे ताका मातशें लेट रियलायज जालें आतां खंय तरी शिवसेनेक नानपयत केलो तुमी महाराष्ट्रान भितर बीजेपीन ताच्याच खानार हात धरून मुखार सरली ती खंय तरी एमजी कडेन खानार हात घेवन गोंयां भितर भायर सरले आज एमजी दोनापुरतोच दवरला हे सगळें पळयलें जाल्यार म्हाका दिसता गोंयां भितर एक रिजनल पार्टीची गरज आसा आनी ती स्ट्रॉंग आसपाक जाय ग्राउंडाचेर म्हणून त्या पद्दतीन आमचोय चलता काम
Okay, fair enough. Wait, Avinash Babu, before you react to this, Viraj, now I don't know if this discussion has shifted a little bit. I don't know if you are prepared for it. But tell me one thing, what is the situation of the regional parties in Goa? Because this is, see, the thing I'm allowing this discussion to continue like this because Panchayat elections and regional parties are very closely aligned. So, is there have regional parties beyond I think 80s have they actually worked?
See, if you look at the regional parties,
MG, UG at that time. 80s,
yeah,
70s.
there was MG and UG, but let's fast forward to today. So we have MGP, we have Goa Forward, and we have Revolutionary Goan. So let's just talk about these three parties. MGP is more or less restricted in Ponda Taluka and Perne and the northern parts. Goa Forward, they had 3 MLAs, they have 1 MLA now, so they're just concentrating on a few constituencies like Mai and other places, Kankon being one of them. Revolutionary Goan somehow is present in a lot of constituencies. They got decent amount of votes in many constituencies last time around. So this Panchayat election actually is a very good thing for them. They could capitalize on this, get their volunteers elected, and maybe that could play a bigger role in the next assembly election. The support that they garner here, if they are able to get some punch elected, form some panchayats, or at least get some numbers in them, then that could be a real boost for them as far as the next assembly elections are concerned. But having said that, none of these parties have traditionally, none of the regional parties except for MG and UG in the 80s, like you said, have been able to go beyond that 3, 4, 5, 1 or
That's
2 MLAs are concerned. They might have some support in or some pockets like Salsed and stuff like that, but unless you get to double digits or come close to it, making it into the government on your own becomes difficult. If you look at pan India, there have been parties like Samajwadi Party who has formed this government on their own. If you look at Shiv Sena, they had to always ally with someone. JDU had to ally with someone, but RJD, Trinamool Congress, there are parties who have formed governments, and it's not like they've come and won election right away. That happens maybe in the south where DMK and those parties, TDP, managed to do that. But these parties struggled for, even BSP for that matter, they struggled for like good 10-15 years, third election, fourth election. Like Kanchiram once said, the first election is just to get noticed. Make your notice.
पहली बार हम चुनाव लड़े थे हारने के लिए, दूसरी बार हम चुनाव लड़े थे हराने के लिए, तीसरी बार हम चुनाव लड़े थे जीतने के लिए. That's what he has said.
So the parties have to understand that they have to be there with the people, work in Panchayat election, ZP election, even Lok Sabha election, field their candidates, go to the people, and that's how they're going to come up and plan for maybe 15 years. It's not going to happen in 5 and 10 years. And also they have to stick to their agenda and funda. They shouldn't ally with some other party and then that screws up. I think even Goa Forward, it had an excellent future. Save Goa had an excellent future, ruined because they went with national parties. So if you are a regional party, stand by your decision. Don't go and merge or support bigger parties. That is only going to harm you. So this is something that they need to realize. Also at the same time, it's not very easy to run a regional party and sustain. So 3 elections, 15 years should be the target, and it's not unachievable.
दोतोर, what
Yes,
do you think?
I feel, see, तुमकां फक्त गोंयचेच पळोवन चलचें ना, आख्खे इंडिया भरचेच पळोवचें पडटलें. There has been states which are run by regional parties. There has been states which are run by the central parties.
There have
Be
been
it
states which have been run by regional successfully.
successfully, and there has been states which are run by national parties also
Successful,
successful.
correct.
So there is no strict jacket formula. काम इतलेच लोकांचे मुद्दे घेवन तुमकां ग्राउंडार वचचें पडटलें आनी प्रोफेशनली पार्टी तुमकां चलोवची पडटली. तुमकां क्लियर विजन दिवचें पडटलें, लोकांचे मुद्दे तुमकां हें करचे पडटले, काम करपाचो एक फॉर्म्युला आसचो पडटलो, डिलिव्हरन्साचो फॉर्म्युला आसचो पडटलो, तुमच्या भितर तुमचें रिकन्सिलिएशन मेकॅनिझम आसचें पडटलें, कोणाचो रोल कितें हें तुमी ठरोवचें पडटलें आनी त्या प्रमाणे चाल चरित्र चेहरा करून म्हणजे बीजेपी प्रोफेशनलिझम कशें not necessarily you have to copy, but at least that professionalism in them you will have to inculcate in your party. I think whether it is regional party or national party, both have got equal opportunity. It's your performance, dedication, and your actual results which will determine whether you will stay in politics or you are wither away.
Also, one point I would like to add again that you have to stay. You have to fight election. Now, see, I'm not saying that the election should be fought on party basis. I'm not saying that. I'm making this point right in the beginning. But what I'm saying is that you see the way the ruling party is actually going to fight the elections. The MLAs are there today. In fact, earlier when Captain Viriato was saying, he was saying, I called the flying squad because Movin was there with 3 jeeps, one big bus of that means the ministers and the MLAs of the ruling party are there. But many of the so-called contenders are not there in the field.
Lack of
They are not in the
enthusiasm, unprofessionalism. That's what I'm saying.
Now even NCP, I don't know where it is. Where it is there in.
No, we see.
Go forward is there in Kankan. I don't
What?
see it anywhere else.
No.
AAP is there in those 2 constituencies which they have won. But and I don't know, Congress, I really don't know. I don't know. I don't see. I have
See,
not seen.
any election is an opportunity to reach out to the people.
Yeah, to make yourself known. No?
You are seen on the ground, you meet people, people also acknowledge your presence. So this opportunity, it's a constitutionally made available opportunity, no party should lose. अशा तरेची opportunity असता पळय तांकां आता now these elections are not to be fought on party line, but in individual capacity, if a person is getting to connect to the people, then opportunity must be exhausted.
Yeah, okay. One second. Before I go to you, Viraj, I also want to talk on this. Our reporter from Pedne is on the line. Sandeep, Sandeep, सांग किती चल्ला तुमचे तालुक्यात?
पेडणे आणि मांद्रे असे 2 हांव हे पळयता आणि दोनांनी आतापर्यंत 72 ते 73% आतापर्यंत वोटिंग जाल्लेलें आसा. बरें वोटिंग बी जाल्लेलें आसा, थंड चालू आसा, तशें काय खंय बोवाळ बी असो काय दिसूंक ना आणि बरे भशेन चलता. आता 5 पर्यंत जवळ जवळ 80 क्रॉस करतले असं दिसता, कारण जो उत्साह लोकांचो जर पळयता जाल्यार खुबशे लोकांनी मतदान करपाक आपण म्हण भायर सरलेले आहा. जाणटे तशेंच जी कोण मॅरीड आहा ती आपल्या घरा कडेन येवन परती वोटींग करपाक बी अशें रावले. आतां हे इलेक्शन आसा न्हय, ते इलेक्शन हे पंचायत लेवल आसा. पंचायत लेवल असल्या कारणान कितें जाता, जो तो आपल्या म्हणजे घरा कडेन वचया, एक इलेक्शनाच्या निमतान आपल्या घरा कडेन मेळटली अशे ज्यो भुरगीं हांगासरल्यान लग्न बी करून दिल्लेली आसा न्हय, ती येता परती आणि हो चान्स तांकां हो चान्स पडटा. पण पळोवपाक गेल्यार इलेक्शन आहा न्हय ह्या फावटीचे ते खूब हातूंतल्यान जाल्लेले आसा. म्हणजे कशें पयशांचो खेळ खूब जाल्लेलो आसा. पळयता थंय पयशांचो खेळ खुबसो जाल्लेलो आसा आनी तशें कोणाक एरेस्ट बी अशें कोणाकच करूंक ना आणि ते कशें आहा दाखयना ते आणि चलता अजून मेरेन तरी बरें आसा इलेक्शन.
ओके, कावलकर, दोतोर, तू ओरिजिनल पेडणेकार.
लोकां भितर उत्साह दिसून येता काय ना? पेडणेकारा भितर उत्साह दिसून येता काय ना?
खूप उत्साह म्हणजे ज्या पद्धतीन आतापर्यंत 72 ते 75% मतदान जाला म्हणजे उत्साह ऑलरेडी आसा थंय असं दिसता. आता तरी 2-3 वरां उरल्या पळोवया.
एक वर उरले.
हा
एक वर उरले.
हय 4:17 जाल्या बरोबर. एक वर उरला. एका वरान तरी पूण ना म्हटल्यार 10% आनी जावं शकता, कारण चालू आसा, गर्दी चालू आसा. हांवें सकाळ पासून जे दाखयल्लें आसा, मोरजी म्हणा, मांद्रे म्हणा, पार्शे म्हणा, नाल्यार कोरगांव, नाजाल्यार पेडणे म्हणजे पेडणे ही म्युन्सिपालिटी पडटा, पण पेडणे सोडून वारखंड बी येता, ते सगळे उत्साह लोकांचो तितलोच चालू आसा आणि लायनीतच अजून आसा. म्हणजे खंय वयता थंय कमीत कमी 10-15 जाण तरी अजून लायनीक दिसता.
बाय अँड लार्ज पीसफुल जाला काय मातशें केस्तांवां बी जालें?
ना, केस्तांवां बी तशें कांयच जावंक ना. केस्तांवांक काय ना, थंडपणान चालू आसा. आणि एक सांगपाची गजाल म्हटल्यार मांद्र्यान एक दांडोस वाडा म्हणून आसा. हांव थंय पळयलें जाल्यार 4य कॅन्डिडेट एकाच जाग्यार आसलेली. हांवें तांकां विचारलें सहज की बाबा तुमी म्हटलें लेडीज आसलेली, ती आसून लेडीज पळय. हांवें म्हटलें तुमी अशी कशी लेडीज म्हटलें एका जाग्यार 4य जाणां आणि दोगांय एकामेकाची सगळीं म्हटलें 4य जाणां अपोनंट कशी कितें रावले काय तुमी दुसऱ्या आनी खंयच्या वार्डान आहात ना म्हणपा लागली. आमी ह्याच वार्डान रावल्या, सगळीं नवी आसा. आमच्या पैकी कोणूय जरी येयले न्हय जाल्यार आमकां चलता, आमी ताका सपोर्ट करतले न्हय, तेजे कडल्यान ती कामां करून बी घेतले. अशेंय बी पळोवपाक मेळ्ळां ह्या इलेक्शनान. एक दुर्मीळ योग आसा हो. ना जाल्यार तुका 2 बायलां एका थंय येवप व्हेरी डिफिकल्ट. एका थंय येवप हे तर तेच्या भायर आनी वयल्यान. आनी खरें बरें दिसलें ते पळोवनय, म्हाकाय बी बरें दिसलें.
Okay. Yeah, thanks, Kamalkar. Thank you. We will get back to you. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, what were you saying?
I really don't know how to respond to that. But anyway, everybody is entitled to his opinion. But yes, by and large, तुम्ही जर पहिलीपासून जर पहिले न्ही, पेडणे, काणकोण हे जे मागासलेले भाग असतात,
रुरल एरियाज
तातून इलेक्शन टर्नआउट बरो असता. आमच्याकडे झगडी केस्तांवां कमी असता आणि मिळून मिसळून असे सगळ्यांनी मिळून इलेक्शन ऑफकोर्स ते थोडे तरी हे येताच, बट बाय अँड लार्ज ते इलेक्शन सोंपल्या उपरांत ते कॅरी करप ना, ते थंयच्या थंय सोंपप आणि वांगडा काम करप, ही जी भावना आसा पळय ती आमच्याकडे चड दिसून येता. बाकीच्या म्हणजे तुमकां ही साश्टीन कमी दिसतली किंवा पणजेन कमी दिसतली, पण आमच्याकडे ही भावना अजून बार्देजान तुमकां खूप कमी दिसतली, पण आमच्याकडे हे अजून चलून दिसता. सो आय थिंक हो एक घेण्यासारखो म्हणजे समथिंग टू चेरिश अबाउट.
Okay, I wanted to bring one point back before Kamalkar came on this. Now, I was basically what I wanted to say is that we have realized, we have noticed, we have seen that the person who comes, who stays, who is there for a long term, he profits. Like be it in business or be it in profession.
Yes.
I think politics also has shown, especially last time, at that you have to be there. Like say. Vijay Sardesai has been there in Fatonda right from, I don't know, donkey's years. He's been there. Now Vikas and all are building up in Kankon or in say in AAP with Venzi, and last time also AAP did very well in Benali. Or Veli, Cruz has been there, ZP, XYZ. Many, these people have been consistently working consistently. They have not said that no, this is a Panchayat, this is ZP, this is assembly, this looks. They have not seen. So this. Do you all feel it? This is what I feel. You have to be there. You cannot just come during elections. And
no, these candidates who contested this time around and did not manage to win, what they have to understand is they have to stick with it. There is a tendency for them to like take it in a very negative way. Like in sports, you first thing that you need to do is accept defeat. So they tend to make some what do you call it? They make a strong statement like I lost this election. I'm not going to contest any more election. I'm not going to help people, and they kind of get into that negative mentality. They have to understand that big leaders like even like Manohar Parrikar lost Lok Sabha election. Digambar Kamath, who's been there for such a long time, he lost his first election. Even Vijay Sardesai, very strong leader, lost his first election. Lakshmikant Parsekar, he lost I think more than 2 elections
Yeah.
and went on to become the chief minister. Why did he become the chief minister? Because he stuck there. He did not go back, change his profession or something like that. He was there with the people. So they have to be with the people. Panchayat election is an excellent platform.
That's what I always thought. That's what I thought.
It's like it's a payback for all the volunteers, all your workers who worked with you. So you have to be with them, support them in, of course, in individual capacity, because it's not on party lines. But that is something that they should take seriously and should be present throughout the 5-year term. So some have the tendency to mushroom at the last moment.
That's
work
what I'm
in the
saying. That
last
doesn't
1 year.
work. That doesn't work. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We will getting into a short break, and it's been very interesting. And percentages, I don't know. Probably we will not touch 85-90%. I don't know.
85.
In certain areas we might, certain areas we may not. But we will bring all that to you all when we get back. Keep watching.